Hi guys, welcome back to Lunatic Astrology. And I'm your astrologer, Lori Lothian, and today we're talking about Pluto and Venus in the sky and how they are commanding the show from December and into March of 2023. But we're going to do the all signs portion. So based on your rising sign, sun or moon, you'll know how Venus and Pluto meeting in the sky together in a way they haven't done. Well, this happens every 2 years, okay? But Venus has not been in Capricorn for 4 months since 2013 December into the winter of 2014. There's a special quality to this. And last time she did her long 4-month stay in Capricorn, she did not connect with Pluto 3 times in a row. So this time it'll be around December 10th, December 24th, and March the 2nd, or, the 11th, 25th, and the 3rd, depends on where you live in the world, but around those times. Back in 2000, I did some research and I love this stuff. Let's talk about what happened last time. Venus and Pluto came together in November in Capricorn and touched each other in November of 2014, 13, which was the same time that Venus was spending 4 months in Capricorn during her retrograde. Okay, so there's a reason she's there for so long. The last time this happened in November of 2013, you cannot make this stuff up. I took a little bit of notes to what happened. Venus is the goddess of peace and harmony, and Pluto is the god of trouble and death and chaos and the underworld. And back in November of 13, the peace talks between Israel and the Palestinians was breaking down, and that's the end of peace, death of peace, right? Pluto death, Venus peace, and it was all over the news because it had been 3 years of working toward these peace talks, and it was all collapsing. Second, and John Kerry, Secretary of State at the time, said something like, if we can't fix this, chaos will follow. I know chaos is a plutonian. Second of all, the Taliban leader in Pakistan was assassinated by a CIA drone. Death, Pluto. Stealth, secret, spy networks, Pluto, right? So, and a Taliban leader in Palestine. So this leader was a charismatic fellow. Charismatic, Venus. Oh, well, Venus. Back then, when this happened, at the same time that Pluto and Venus came together in the sky, they were also in a square to Uranus. So jolting, unexpected developments or secrets spilled. Uranus and Aries at the time, things to do with war, like drones and fighters and, stealth executions. Iran agreed to scale back its nuclear arms, its nuclear proliferation. It's going to scale back its nuclear stuff. Well, Pluto, plutonium, nuclear, right? And harmony, peace, and agreements, Venus. And lastly, that November, Yasser Arafat died in 2004. And he was, of course, the leader of the Palestinian cause. And there was always a suspicion that he was poisoned. Now, Pluto rules secrets that can be revealed. And don't forget, these two came together that November of 2013 with Uranus, shocking secrets that can be revealed. Now, you can't make this stuff up. They dug his body up and they revealed in November 2013, when Pluto and Venus were touching each other, that he was indeed poisoned with some kind of poison that has the sound of Pluto, plunarium or something. So there you go. Dark secrets coming up from underneath the underbelly to be revealed to the world. And Venus is a gossip too, she likes to tell the stories that she can tell. But you see, Pluto and Venus only came together once directly during that long 4-month stay in 2013, as Venus was star pointing or creating herself brand new. So this time it's different. This time it's way different. So this time we have a 3 pass. So we have those 3 occasions where Venus will join with Pluto in the sky. They may be all one connected story, or they may be separate stories, but you got the idea. Death of peace, death of a female powerful woman in the news cycle, a woman going into greater power or losing more power, and integrator power stepping up, stepping up to take a position of power. Secrets that are revealed about women, secrets that are revealed about Venusian things, secrets in the art world, secrets in the sex world. That trial that's going on right now for the sex ring thing, Ghislaine Maxwell, right? That's so Pluto Venus, and it's in our news cycle right now. Kamala Harris stepping up for Joe Biden when he had his colonoscopy could be that during this cycle, which doesn't end until the beginning of March 2023, Kamala steps up again into a greater position of power. Queen Elizabeth is getting older, and her husband has passed away at 99 years old, and she may not be around. This could be the death of a monarch. So just be aware of some of the ways that this can play out. Certainly secrets will be revealed. There's no doubt about it. I'm going to show you the sky before we go to all signs, and I'll give you a look at what I'm seeing. So I'm not just talking to you guys with my face, So I'm recording this on December the 4th. So if I say something now, I don't know when I'm posting this on YouTube, but if I predict the future, this was predicted on December the 4th. Like anything I say is December 4th timestamp for it, guys. All right, so you can see this particular sky on December the 10th, and you get a strong sense that you can see that Venus and Pluto are touching each other, right? Let me make it bigger. Hang on. There we go. There they are. And this conjunction is the first one. It's Venus going direct. The next one around December 24th is where she backs into Pluto, going backwards. And then the last one in early March is she's going back forward over Pluto. So all, of course, in Capricorn. So a couple of sky notes here. First of all, her first pass over Pluto is during a first quarter moon, in an exact first quarter moon. The moon is at 19 when I cast it first, pretty close to the perfected conjunction. A first quarter moon at 19, sun at 19, is something's trying to push up and out from underneath the ground. It's also the first quarter moon from the eclipse at 12 Sagittarius on the United States ascendant that we already had, all right, on December the 4th. And so this is the moon's first iteration of that eclipse, because the moon will tell a 4-part story as it goes around the sky in the month after the eclipse, giving us a little bit of clues as to what the eclipse is about over the next 6 months. So one of the things here is that Neptune is conjunct the god of viruses. Neptune, the god of viruses, is conjunct the moon. So there's going to be a story about the pandemic or COVID or Omicron in the news cycle prominently, for sure, around December the 10th. I'm feeling optimistic, cautiously optimistic. I'm going to say cautiously optimistic, because Chiron, the wounded healer, is sitting on the asteroid Apollo. You can't see the asteroid, but it's there. And Apollo is the god of plagues. Chiron is the healer. And at the very same time, you can definitely see that there is a square energy between Juno, the goddess of commitments and fidelity and loyalty and partnership, and this Chiron on the god of plagues and the archetype of healing. Now, is it possible that, there is going to be some breakthrough information coming through that can impact the collective regarding the pandemic that is positive news, like Omicron is very mild, for instance, and it will be endemic soon because it'll take over the world because it's more transmissible than Delta, and we can all ditch the vaccines. I'm just talking sky stories. I do not have a political view, all right, or a vaccine view here. So there's a lot of potential goodness in the sky, because even though Venus is with Pluto, that can be powerful female or the power of love. And I even drew the Empress card, and you can't make this up because this is Venus and Taurus. And the Empress card from my deck of 78 cards, I said, tell me about this first Venus-Pluto conjunction. This is a positive card. And then I drew a card from my friend Kim Hudson's card deck, and it's the kingdom is brighter, and the talent of the Virgin brings greatness to the kingdom. I'll let you interpret the talent of the Virgin brings greatness to the kingdom, but it could be good news. It could be a female rising. It could be Venus doing her thing in her maiden Virgin archetype. Now, I think that with also having Hygeia, the goddess of healing, at 24 degrees of Libra, which is Venus's sign. Venus is on Pluto. This is Venus's sign. All right, they're talking to each other. Yes, it's a square. The death of a health problem. Well, Hygeia is not just sitting there in the sky being, the goddess of healing and health protocols, but she's sitting on Spica, the star of luck and fortune and protection and goodness and nourishment. So between Hygeia, the goddess of healing on Spica, in Venus's home sign of Libra, bringing balance around healing something that needs to be healed, the death of the pandemic. I'm just going to go say I think it's the death of the pandemic. I really do. It doesn't mean we're not going to have financial chaos, because Pluto, Venus there, especially when she goes retrograde, usually is about announcements by central banks or world banks or economic announcements that are put out when Venus stations to go retrograde. That's on the 19th of December. And that could be really upsetting inflation news or food supply chain news or energy cost news or something like that, hitting the collective, especially in the US, and potentially destabilizing markets. So even if we're over the pandemic, then there's this denouement of, oh my God, and what have we done? We spent so much money on vaccines now, or like, on like trillions and trillions of dollars to uphold the lockdowns and stuff like that. All right, so what else can I say about this guy? I feel like with this series, the goddess of the food supply chain and harvest and food in general, and Mars building a perfected opposition to Ceres, that's a little bit daunting. That tells me that as Mars progresses into Sagittarius in the days after December 10th, we're going to end up likely seeing something along the lines of food shortages, severe food shortages, or upsets with agriculture. Here up in Vancouver, Canada, we had horrible floods in what is basically our food belt, and it's going to ruin a lot of crops, and we will have a lot of shortages of poultry and meat supplies, as well as things like berries, whatever else they were growing in the area that was so severely flooded recently with the Mars Uranus action in the sky. So, and Mars is very capable of causing those disruptions. So you can see that this is crossing over right around December 15th. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some definite big news story going on about food supply, food shortages, or inflation even, which can drive the cost of food up pretty wildly. The other thing I say is that the United States was born, like when it was born in the sky with a placement that I find fascinating. I'm going to throw the US chart over this one. The United States was born with the moon conjunct Athena, the goddess of wisdom and knowledge, in the third house of the USA Sibley chart, the house of joy. But to me, it also says the United States has always been good for research. This is an Aquarian moon, an Aquarian Athena in the United States natal chart, a thirst for invention, a thirst for knowledge and learning and discovery, right? And science. And that's a kind of Athena moon Aquarius third house vibe. And I have a feeling that because of this natural disposition that the United States has, remember that in the earlier diagram that I showed you of the sky, you have the moon and Neptune and Athena together replicating a feature of the United States third house chart. So what kind of research, what kind of information about Neptune things, okay, deception, secrets, lies, manipulation, illusion, delusion, conspiracy, and paranoia, or just Neptune is also a god associated with viruses, what kind of research, news, or information is going to be made first quarter moon, brought up from underneath the surface to push up into the light of day? Some big news story around the pandemic and the virus is breaking, I believe, around the 10th of December. And I think it's good news, honestly. And of course, it will defactionalize the vaccine, anti-vaccine contingents that have so deeply polarized families and torn people apart, because basically if Omicron becomes a highly transmissible, mild, non-deadly variant, then what we have is a world head cold, okay? And that will take over the Delta variant or any other variants as the most dominant strain, and short of another mutation that gets more virulent, which is not the nature of viruses. They tend to be less virulent, less deadly as they mutate and become more transmissible, then I do think we have come to the end of a pandemic that was initiated by Mars in 2019 in his heliacal rise in places in the sky where he was really uncomfortable. Virgo, he died in the heart of the sun, and he was visible again in Libra, and that led to our pandemic. And here we are, he's not doing that now. He's rising in Scorpio, probably going to bring a bit of a global war. I don't know if it's a trade war or a real war in 22, may not last long, but there's something like that happening. In early January, Mars crosses over the star Antares, as well as he's getting in touch with that nodal axis, the south node. Both of those things can be about bad news about conflicts and wars in the world. All right, what else? Mm, yeah, I'm going to just add one more thing to the chart. Then we're going to do the all signs. And don't forget, your rising sign is always the most accurate, just for circumstances in your life, you know. And then your sun is really good if you're born in the day, moon at night. But, you know, you could also say sun is more your career and purpose energy, and the moon is how your emotional state will be in the month ahead, or in the, according to the delineation, whatever time frame we're talking about. But I would say, just by rounding all three out and listening to all of those signs, you get a big perspective. Like, I've got like 4 planets in Aries. So if you have a stellium in your chart somewhere, you just want to check out that sign too. If you have like 6 planets in Sag, but you're a Cap rising, who cares? You really want to pay attention to Sagittarius too. It's going to have something to say for you. So I'm going to do the all signs, and it's going to be about the idea of what Venus and Pluto are doing in the sky together, what they're trying to accomplish. And what do I mean by that? Well, I mean, it's a long narrative, guys, right? It's a 3-part series. It doesn't end until March. To remind you of the dates, you know, December 11th-ish, you know, 24th, 25th, Christmas time, and then over there in March on the 2nd, 3rd, before this dance is done. It's very busy Capricorn sky during this time as well. Mars will eventually catch up as well. We'll get other videos on that later. All right, so what I just did was I pulled up the nodes when I was yakking away at you, and I wanted to see when Mars was over that south node. There he is over that south node, and that's happening around December 15th. That is intense energy. It can lead to some kind of, you know, it's Mars stuff, you know. It's in the first house of the United States. So you know, it could be anything. It could be the identity of the United States is going through some kind of problem. Somebody in power in the United States is ill or severed or cut, such as a head of state of some kind, a sickness or illness for a head of state in the United States. Those are just possibilities. Like, you know, Joe Biden might not be feeling too well, maybe. Don't want to wish that on him in mid-December. But it's also very war drummy as well. So a world conflict in the United States is getting pulled in, I don't know, December. Yeah, and it's definitely, it only happens once every 2 years, but this time it's actually happening in the 0 degrees of a Sagittarius. So that's a very potent degree. 29s and zeros are very strong energies. So this is a significant moment in time is where I'm going with that. And it doesn't happen that often because the nodes are moving through a sign every 18 months. So 2 years ago, this is not where Mars and the South Node collaborated in the sky. Okay, so I hope that makes some sense to you guys. Something about a loss and difficulty going on in the United States regarding its identity. I'm only talking about the United States because I know that Sibley chart, right? The United States is a rising sign 12. Mars will reach the ascendant of the US where fixed star Antares, a warrior star, sits, also associated with Archangel Uriel. And when Mars gets to 12 degrees, that'll be early January with Antares. That could definitely be some kind of conflict that the United States is getting involved in on the global scene. All righty. Taiwan, China, anyone? Let's move to all signs. I'm going to get rid of this chart and just talk to you guys instead of doing it this way. Stop the share. So I'm in Vancouver. It's cold today, but it's sunny. And I'm sitting in my bed. This is my bed I'm in. And I'm looking outside my window since I didn't want to set a ring light up. But I'm telling you guys, it's an eclipse day I'm doing this on. I normally don't work on an eclipse day. I had a client this morning. I forgot to book my calendar off. It was an amazing session. But I also don't really do videos on eclipse days. But somehow today I felt really called to talk about this Venus story. And so for each of our signs, I'm definitely going to pull a card from my deck. And I've been doing tarot cards since I was in my 20s in New York City when I used to live there, to live down in Chelsea. I worked on magazine at 22nd Street. And during my lunch hour, I used to go down to a store, I think on 18th or 19th in that neighborhood, Chelsea. And I used to always get tarot cards and occult mystery books at a store called The Magical Child. Any Manhattanites listening? It's not there anymore, I don't believe. Okay, let's hope I hold video here. I mean, that my video doesn't conk out. I've been having internet issues. All right, let's get rolling. And I'm going to plug in my laptop. And we're going to start with Aries today. I may as well go traditional. So let me just grab the chart for my own visual so I know what I'm saying to you guys. Did I miss any important details on this Venus-Pluto thing? I don't think so. Let me just check. Hygeia on Spica. I think I got it all. Yep. Okay. All right. I'm coming, guys. I'm so slow today. I'm in slow-mo. I had wine last night. I didn't think I had that much, but I woke up feeling like I had too much. My daughter was over here for dinner. And yeah, and then she went clubbing afterwards, and she's really feeling rough today. I'm like, okay, but okay, let me get it up. Hang on. Okay, Aries, sun, moon, and rising sign. Let's get going and talk about what's happening in your sky with Venus Pluto between December the 11th and March the 2nd in 3 passes. First of all, you guys are experiencing this as an angular energy because Pluto and Venus are in your natal 10th house, where there's deep transformation and change happening in your career. Having Venus in your 10th house since November 5th is good for your career. You are going to take your level of power to another height or another level. So, the power of love, the power of your career, really. Venus is powering up with Pluto to great. It's a bit of a wealth yoga too. Pluto and Venus together can bring like lots of wealth. So money's increasing through your career. It's a bit of a treasure in your career that you're on a treasure hunt. You might be having revelations as you, especially retrograde, which would be another video, into new ways to serve your better financial health through career choices you make, work and business choices that you make. Now, during the 25 degrees where Pluto and Venus are meeting in the sky, certainly if you're an Aries sun, moon, or rising with planets, your sun, moon, or rising sign, in the last 10 degrees of Aries, you're really feeling this quite strongly, okay? So those of you with that placement, 20 degrees and up, 29 degrees of Aries, are getting very intense energy during this 3-part Venus-Pluto combination. You're really good for collaborating with others and getting really serious momentum, however, because Juno's up there with Venus and Pluto in the sky in your 10th house. And you can also count on, way down the pipeline of February, last 2 weeks of February, some really intense support from Mars as well to get your career energies to take off with this drive, ambition, and hot, sexy Venus Mars dance in the top of your sky. Now, I do want to say that if you want to be, as an Aries rising sun or moon, launching something new in your career, wait till Venus goes direct on just January 29th at the very least, and Mercury around, obviously, Mercury will go direct on February 4th. You want to give yourself the direct motion power to actually do something in your career at that point. In the meantime, you could be doing backroom plotting about things that you want to engineer, change, and shift in your work environment. All right. I'd say this 3-part Venus touchdown is all about a profound transformation of your purpose or career in the world and the money that you're going to make from that profound reorientation that you're going through. And this is a once in a lifetime vibe, right? Every 8 years, Venus will be in Capricorn, okay? But Pluto won't be again, okay? So in the next time that Venus will be in Capricorn, 8 years from now, Pluto will be in Aquarius. So this is a big last hurrah, powering up, since Pluto entered your 10th house in 2008 of this transformation and potency in career. I think that's all I'm going to say. I'm just scanning the sky. Because the Pluto-Venus conjunction is in a sextile to Neptune moon, remember I talked about that being maybe a pandemic endpoint. It's also really good, lastly, Aries, sun, moon, and ascendant for dreams at night and visions and vision boarding and manifesting energy in your 12th house of those sorts of things. Really take the time to journal your dreams in the middle of December, all the way through really, but the dream journaling thing is going to be important because Neptune will be in this kind of broad-based energy with Pluto, the sextile, through a lot of December and into January. And it's going to be something you can dive into, like you could have visions and imaginations and dreams and meditations that have huge, huge power, downloads and breakthroughs for you. So lean in that direction. Moving on, Taurus, sun, moon, and rising sign. People, always reminding you guys, your rising sign is a bit better than your anything else if you want to get accurate forecasting. So for you guys, this combination of powerful Venus and Pluto teaming up 3 times in your sky, as I said earlier, around the 10th of December, the 24th of December, and like the 2nd of March, 3-part story of enhancing your educational, higher educational stuff. If you're going to school, colleges, and campuses, this is very positive. This is really helping you power up through December, January, February in academic settings. It's also great for trips to foreign shores. And in fact, if you travel during that Pluto Venus time, in December, world events aside, that will be an amazing journey for you, an amazing trip. And this influence is kind of playing out like a saturated Venus Pluto vibe, really all through February into March as well. So trips in February in the first week of March are also very, very auspicious for you. If they're off to foreign shores, you could meet a powerful new female there. You could have a romance blossom in a foreign land, that kind of thing. And lastly, it's a house of your faith. Do you believe in God? Do you believe in magic? What are your beliefs? Where do you source your trust in the universe? That's your 9th house. This could very well look like you going into a more of a spiritual seeker mode to unravel the depths of your spiritual beliefs. Pluto up there since 2018 has been asking you to seriously take a look under the hood about what you actually believe. Even if it's not like I believe in God, it's like I believe money doesn't grow on trees. I believe that bad things always happen to good people. Like all these things that you might believe are being questioned. This is the house of the father in Vedic astrology. For some Taurians, it could be Pluto, Venus, could be money from a father, wealth coming from a father figure, that kind of thing, financial help from a father figure. If you're in a court case, similar money and payouts coming from legal affairs and court cases during this journey of Venus and Pluto together. Don't forget, it spans a while, right? Just like December 10th, it's not over till the beginning of March. The dreamy Neptune in a general sextile vibe to Pluto Venus is really offering you the opportunity, especially in December, to activate your deepest hopes, dreams, and wishes, like the aspirations that you have for your life, the ones that you keep in your journal or that you tell your best friends only, the ones that you would tell your fairy godmother or genie in a bottle, what you wanted in life, the deeply held hopes, dreams, and visions for your life, your future, what you wish to attain in your world of being on planet Earth. That's your 11th house of good spirit energies. And Neptune there is asking you to dream big into this stuff because basically with Venus Pluto there, Venus likes to give you what you desire. What do you desire? And this is a good opportunity, especially now. Don't forget, you get 3 touchdowns though, right? So to dream big and see what you can conjure as a vision for your life. Gemini, sun, moon, and rising sign. So for you guys, the Pluto-Venus connection, where they come together in the sky 3 times, reminding you that's like December 10th, December 24th, and beginning of March, is in your 8th house of money. Now, Pluto likes this house. It's secrets. It's money that belongs to your spouse, to inheritance money, government money, sometimes royalty, investment monies from sales of possessions like homes, money like that. Chunks of money coming, okay, and other people's money that doesn't really belong to you. Now, the thing about this money is that you could be getting is Pluto, and the best Pluto and Venus can do together is be very powerful around wealth. And now they're coming together 3 times in your sky. So some of you Gemini are up leveling the money story. There's no doubt about it. Or your spousal money is up leveling. It's funny. I've got this necklace I got it in the Yukon a few years ago. This is a pearl to honor Venus, but this is fool's gold. This is pyrite. Anyway, So Pluto rules gold and silver and precious metals and oil and things that come from the bounty of the earth that we dig up. And so cryptocurrency is mined. So possibly you could have a payoff from a cryptocurrency or an investment that you've made, and some of you Geminis are laughing to the bank here. Now, I don't think that this is also just that. It's the occult mystery house, a house of death. And it's a deep dive that Venus is doing during her retrograde on the 19th to the of December to the 29th of January. So you may be doing like forensics of your investments. You might be diving under the surface of your financial structures. For some of you, this definitely could be about working out the inheritance details or the spousal alimony, palimony kind of child support stuff. You might find that that's very prominent here. Don't think that Neptune in the 10th house is all that concerned with the palimony alimony, but he is a holding court for you to dream into a purpose in the world and a calling and take action toward it in a way that is supported by this money powerhouse of Venus and Pluto in your eighth. If you get a chunk of money out of this, and some of you might now apply yourself to your dream career path as a result. And with Athena up there with Neptune, you may even also apply to your dream educational program that supports your career that you want to actualize. And is that about it, Gemini? Yeah, I think so. Some of you Gemini, sidebar, really working on healing your relationships with your children during this Pluto transit. I didn't bring in the Hygeia for most people, but for you, I'm just going to say, you know, Hygeia, the goddess of healing, isn't that square to the Venus, Pluto in the eighth house. It could be a really interesting time with children in your life, your children, where you're working on some relational healing of some sort. Cancer, sun, moon, rising sign. For you guys, this energy is happening in the sky, up in your seventh house or over in your seventh house of primary love and partnership. This energy is all about romantic, committed, loyal, faithful, monogamous love. That's why it's the house of marriage. It can also be sexuality in that house, usually with our established partner. Venus is into sex. Pluto is like kink, the underworld, BDSM, or transformative tantric, you know, liaisons with the divine through your sex partner. So some of you might have some of that going on, Cancer, sun, moon, and rising. But you might also feel that this is a bit of a desire for Pluto and Venus to either pull the plug on a relationship, a significant relationship that isn't working for you. It can be business partners as well as love, because you know it's like death. Pluto, Venus, love, the death of love, 3 times. December 11th is, you know, December 24th and March the 3rd. Pay attention to the 3 bells that are ringing in your relationship house. Now, it is the house of legal documents that you sign. So there could be some very transformative, financially positive legal documents that you're signing also during this time. And I kind of think that with Neptune, dreamy and sextiling, that Pluto-Venus combination, there is very much a feeling of what you could create through your spiritual aspirations and your divine intelligence and the way you wish to see the world through the beautiful glasses of we are one and all is love and only love is real. And those are good Neptunian sayings. You're leaning into the higher energies here. And that includes in legal battles or court cases or higher education as well. If any of those come up, you have to go to court with Neptune up there past the 15-degree mark. You're less diluted and you're more spiritually assured, trusting the universe is a friendly place and has your back. You may be also healing or shifting things in the home and private domestic life right now as this Venus transit goes on and engages in December, particularly the asteroid Hygeia in the house of home. That can be healing your ancestral line beliefs and stories as well. I didn't include this information for, unfortunately, the first 2, Aries and Taurus, I think. Oh, well, I just wasn't thinking about Hygeia, but given that she's in that tight square to Venus, Pluto, especially in December, healing your ancestral family line or mother of origin stuff or your mother woundology could all be playing out as well during this time. And in relationship to your marriage partner or business partnerships, are you projecting your mother stuff or family of origin stuff on your partner? Or is there stress in the home with your partner and you need to iron it out? We shall see. We shall see. Leo, sun, moon, and rising sign. So you get this energy happening in your Pluto, Venus energy in your sixth house of right livelihood or work, the work routines, the house of your health and health protocols. And so if you are a Leo, sun, moon, or rising sign who has been dealing with health challenges, Pluto, Venus is a lot of power going on here to dig under the surface and reveal something hidden from view that could be very supportive of your health in a practical, lasting way. Venus in Capricorn, right? It could also be very much looking at going deep, digging deeper into what is under the surface of a health challenge. Like, I don't just mean your blood work panel. I mean, like, what is the underbelly of a health challenge? Is it like a self-defeating habit, you have to stop? Is it some kind of thing that you are creating with the power of your mind and stress that you're under or something? So, you may go a little metaphysical here with that Pluto Venus combination. And, Venus is going to be going retrograde on December 19th to January 29th, which will allow you to go deep, deep, deep into healing your body and your health in a new way. Females may show up, women, powerful women healers or helpers for your health story, especially given that there's contact with Hygeia, the goddess of healing and health, in your third house of your local neighborhood. So likely it'd be finding a local neighborhood healer, but also the third house is now our virtual community, so it also could be online as well. I do like that Neptune is really opening up the gates of your imagination in your eighth house of your money story, to do with your inheritances or your spousal shared resources, and giving you a new vision for your money, maybe with the help of a strategic advisor, because Athena's there in December. And this new vision for your finances and money, it can also open the gateway to occult mysteries and learning. Athena and Neptune now in your eighth house, and in that sextile to Pluto Venus, could be learning some occult magic, mystery, and whatever, the tarot, ritual magic, talismanic magic, hermetic arts, the weird and wonderful world of woo is opening up to you. Learn how to be a medium, how to talk to dead people, who knows? For some of you Leos, that's going to be a door that's swinging open in the month of December and may stay open all the way through until early March. Virgo, sun, moon, and rising sign. This is my daughter, I always talk about my daughter on my show here. For the Virgos of the world, Pluto is powering up in the house of pregnancy, childbirth, and romantic love affairs. The muse, your inspiration, your joy, your fun, your play, your pleasure. Well, be careful here, because Pluto Venus can take you over the top and you might overdo your fun, joy, play, pleasure in December. You might go a little bit too far. It's like Venus has got Plutonianized. She's getting like really intensified here. On the other hand, it could be really good for your sex life. Absolutely, no doubt about it. And if you have children, your relationship with your children is powering up as well. Although, with Pluto, there could be a deep transformation of that relationship ongoing with Venus's support. Don't forget the dates are like around December 11th, December 24th, March 2nd-ish. Those are the times where Pluto, Venus keep coming together in the late degrees of Capricorn in your fifth house of children, sex, romance, and the muse. Also, if you're powering up for your own business, you want to start your own business, your own website, or anything like that, you want to be entrepreneurial, self-made, self-starter energy is the fifth house. So Pluto Venus can really give you what you need to put into place your own business and not be an employee, but be self-employed. Certainly that's one possibility. And you've got healing energies in your house of money. Hygeia is trying to heal some issues to do with how much money is flowing into your life for your resources during this connection to the Venus-Pluto window of time, especially in the month of December. As well, Neptune is helping you with your primary significant marriage partner, relationship, or business partner. Neptune is giving his sort of golden glow of dreamy soulmate, divine complement energy there. And he's working with Athena, the goddess of strategy and knowledge as well. This can be really a good time for your primary relationship, because that sextile from Neptune to the Venus-Pluto conjunction is definitely taking your primary love relationship and sex partner relationship to a whole other level of connection. This is definitely a time for a lot of Virgos where you're moving up in the love story. If this love story sucks and there's a problem with it, sorry for that crude language, but Pluto Venus can be the death of love. So it's got kind of a double-edged sword here. For anything with a fracture in it and it's not doing really well, watch for some explosive action, especially around Christmas time when Venus retrogrades into Pluto. And, you know, these sorts of things can come out of the blue. I mean, not that they always do, but Uranus is, you know, up in Taurus in a trine to Juno in your house of marriage partnerships. That could be a shocking revelation by you or your partner, sex partners, I should say, of some sort. I don't know, just for some of you. Or you could just have an incredibly bad misunderstanding and a conflict around the second pass of Venus over Pluto. Whether the relationship makes it or not will be determined by March the 2nd, 3rd on Venus's last pass over the Plutonian territory of your 5th house of romance, love affairs, children, pregnancy, etc. Be careful that you don't accidentally get pregnant. Okay, that's another possibility here. And that certainly is pretty damn shake up your life, right, stuff. And with Uranus kind of broadly involved in a trine to the 5th house from the house of grandparents, the 9th house, or the house of father too, but you might end up getting accidentally pregnant, just like your grandma did, or accidentally pregnant in a way that is, you know, the reincarnation of one of your grandparents. But just be careful there. It can disrupt your educational track for sure, because Uranus is in the house of higher education, or things going on can disrupt your travels abroad as well if you're not careful during this 3-part Pluto Venus contact. All right, Virgos. Libra, sun, moon, rising sign. We're at the halfway mark. So we started with Aries. So you guys are having the energy. Oh, I hope I'm recording. No, please tell me I am. Thank God I am. I do this all the time. Am I recording? I am recording. So you get this energy for Venus and Pluto in the 4th house of home, Libra. I know a couple Libras who've had some big changes in their home life within their homes that they live in. Also, they've moved homes. So Venus, Pluto's been in your 4th house forever, but Venus here since November 5th to March, 6th. And this is going to bring beautification of your home, powering up treasures in your home, a deep inward dive in contemplation of how you feel about your mother and your familial stories from your family of origin or your parents. Now, with Venus and Pluto together here, though, this is a bit of a treasure hunt going on in your 4th house of home. So you may find treasure in the home. And I'm not joking. You might find some valuable thing that you didn't know, like antique roadhouse. Oh my God. Venus and Capricorn is antiques. Like, oh my God, I didn't know that vase was like a Ming 2 dynasty and it's worth like $1 million that I picked up at a yard sale. There's treasure in your house right now, Libras. So it could just be also a treasure of self-knowing. It could also be the treasure of seeing that the value of your property is so increased that you decide to sell it, or you find a new home you want to buy and it feels like a treasure because you just lucked out and it's the best place house you could have possibly wished for. With Hygeia wanting to heal your physical body, there's a lot of energy now going into your physical form. Hygeia is in your 1st house, on your ascendant in essence. So, but it affects the sun and moon Libra too, where you're trying to figure out where your best healing and health is. And you've been thinking about that for a few months now, a couple months. And then this Hygeia healing of the body mind complex is working with Venus in your 4th house. A lot of this energy is applying to how things go in your private domestic downtime life, who you live with and where you live is relevant to this healing quality in the 1st house of body and identity. With a dreamy Neptune sextile to the Pluto Venus combination in your 6th house of health and sickness, this is also very much again telling us that some things that are going on in the home are here to help you heal. Now, honestly, toxic mold or hidden things under the surface, radon, outgassing, lead shedding from the paint. These are Pluto Venus things that can be going on. And if there's revelation of something that's hidden from view, Pluto, that brings new harmony and healing to your body and ends of sicknesses, there's a good one for some of you Libras. Libras. Also Neptune in the house of work and work protocols, calling you to invite your imagination to work and to dream into something more powerful about how you wish your work to feel and look in the world. Does it have a higher calling? All right, Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising sign. People, you have this Pluto-Venus combination in your third house of your local neighborhood, your cafes and pubs and stuff, trips and travel, domestic travel, short trips and travel, commuting even. You have this Venus-Pluto sitting in the house of trains, planes, and automobiles, and you also have it in the house of siblings, aunts, uncles, and cousins, skills-based learning and education, and goddess stuff like oracles, diviners, and seers. Okay, a lot of action down there. Third house has a lot of meanings. It can even be online websites and platforms. It can also be the house of self-expression, most often writing. So all of that said, if you're a writer, Scorpio, if you're like, whether you're a songwriter or you're like a writer, this is illustriously yummy for you, because Venus and Pluto in your third house in a sextile to Neptune in the house of the muse, the imagination is on fire. Venus, it loves the Neptune contact. The two of them are synergistic for the arts and creativity. We've got Athena, the wisdom and knowledge strategy goddess, who likes to research stuff as well in your fifth house. Some of you Scorpios who are writers are going to be on fire with ideas and being really driven to be creative in December, January, February through to March. Now, with this combination of Venus and Pluto in the third house, a sibling relationship could have challenges, especially during the retrograde at Christmas. Oh, it's a hot spot, you know, when around the 24th, 25th, Venus is back over Pluto, you could have some old arguments, some old grudges with siblings, sometimes aunts, uncles, and cousins rise up to the surface for investigation and re-establishing, you know, the grudge and to clear the air. Some clear the air going on here. Possibly a trip that you wanted to take could be on off the books and or derailing around Christmas as well. Because this is the trip and travel house, and retrograde Venus crashing into Pluto could be like the death of a trip or a planned trip coming up in the third week of December. With the dreamy Neptune, though, offering some lovely inspiration from the fifth house of play, fun, pleasure, and the muse, and your children, there's a lot of good stuff that I feel is overriding any disruptive stuff as well. You know, I do think, though, that you have that Hygeia that's in the 12th house right now, the goddess of health and healing. If you have any self-undoing addictions, like you smoke or you drink too much, or, you know, you just check out, you know, or something with escapism. Hygeia is trying to help you heal some of that stuff. And she's working in concert with the Venus-Pluto conjunction in your third house. Maybe some of your neighborhood haunts aren't so good for you. Maybe some of your Netflix binging online world stuff isn't so good for you. You may find the death of a bad habit, Venus-Pluto, habits and pleasures, death, restoring better health in your life as a result of this transit. So that's pretty exciting. Yay. Sagittarius, sun, moon, rising sign. So for Sagittarius, the Venus-Pluto conjunction, don't forget, guys, it's like the three-part story around the 11th of December, 24th of December, you know, 24th, 25th, and then the beginning of first couple days of March. So this Venus-Pluto energy is really intense. It comes together at the 25th degree, and it tells a story of money. It's in your money honey house, and you are looking at your earnings, and you are looking at your cash flow and your resources. And some of you, maybe even your voice or your vocation. Watch for what you eat. Pluto Venus is like overindulging in things that are really, really bad for your health, or Pluto is putting down the kibosh and saying, no, we're going to stop that thing. The death of my addiction to Haagen-Dazs or something. I don't think that with Pluto Venus here, your money story is a bad one. However, this is a bit of a wealth yoga in a money house. And so your money story is trying to improve, you Sagittarius, between, you know, December through to the beginning of March, but there's going to take some time. And, you know, Venus will retrograde over Pluto. So I keep mentioning there's will be a separate video for that around December 19th. And you're going to feel, I mean, sorry, that's when she goes retrograde. She's going to retrograde over Pluto around Christmas time. And that, I mean, you may feel a contraction around money at that time. It may be temporary. On the other hand, maybe I read that wrong. You get a Christmas bonus from your employer that knocks you out of the woods. And oh my God, it's so lucky. Because Hygeia, the goddess of healing and health, is in the house of karmic rewards and karmic dividends and pennies from heaven, friends and allies as benefactors and all of that. Your 11th house of great gains from your career. So this could be for some Sagittarius, sun, moon, and ascendants, a ka-ching of money coming in from the career part of their life. Also, you have the energy of Neptune dreaming up a storm regarding home, where you live, your own home, the homeland, where you want to nest yourself. This can make you very prone to spending a lot of time during December, January, February, dreaming and daydreaming in your home, puttering around with visions and daydreamy thoughts and reveries in your home. And that, Neptune is supporting more money, right? Venus and Pluto in your money house. And so sextile, flow and harmony. How are you going to realize this flow and harmony and create more money in your life through things you dream up and dream into while you're in your bed at home or in your meditation cushion at home? That kind of thing. A lot of Sagittarius want to move to somewhere that is their true place, their spiritual place, or their ashram place. Neptune in the 4th house is propelling that question into action over the next year. And I'm not going to do this whole thing, but next year Jupiter comes onto that Neptune in your 4th house, right, in April next year. That could very well be a dream home showing up for you. Okay, moving on. Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising sign. You have Pluto and Venus in the house of you, your identity, your body, the you piece of the chart, the 1st house. Well, good for buying a new wardrobe, being more elegant and refined, becoming more of a quality over quantity with your hairstyle, your clothing, your appearance, refining your appearance, more elegance. Good for choosing lasting, transformative things for your health that can improve how attractive you look to others and feel to yourself. This is especially true if you're a Capricorn, sun, moon, or rising, with your sun, moon, or rising sign within the last 10 degrees of Capricorn, but it's true for all of you Capricorns as well. This can make you very powerfully charismatic, seductive, persuasive, because Pluto, power, Venus, charisma, coming together in the house of your identity. Good time for you to push for what you want in life, ask for what you want, go for it. You have a lot of sway and people are willing to say yes. And with Hygeia, the goddess of healing, in your career house, some of this things that you need or want and you can get could be to offer some healing around the path of your Libra and 10th house of career, which Venus owns and cares a lot about. A powerful female may be involved in some choices you're making about your career. It doesn't have to be even someone from the workplace, just any woman in your life could be helping you make decisions around career or get certain changes affected in the career area of your chart that are going to benefit you in the long run. I do like the fact that Neptune is in your 3rd house, because he's like asking you to do the, this is the house of the goddess, and Neptune's an enlightenment god, and there's synchronicity, magic, or oracles, diviners, and scryers, that kind of thing in the 3rd house. Some of you might see a shaman, a healer, a guide, a scryer, a diviner in December, January, February, but certainly in December. With Neptune here as well, you might be dreaming of wanting to dream into or imagine into a new local neighborhood. And if you're a writer, this is the god of storytelling and a house of writing. So this, for some of you Caps, if you're that inclined, you will find your imagination and your storytelling abilities picking up Plutonian and Venusian power and during this December, January, February, March kind of storyline. I'm not sure I would necessarily advise you have plastic surgery or anything during this Venus Pluto event. At least it wouldn't be my suggestion. Often Venus in the 1st house is a 2 thumbs up for that kind of thing, but I'm not crazy about it for you guys in the month of December, especially any cosmetic procedures that require interventions with a knife or some sharp thing like surgery or dermabrasion. Mars, coming into that south node would be the god of surgery, could be causing problems that you didn't expect from some sort of treatment like that. I would definitely wait, especially let Mars clear the south node. So let's say sometime in February would be a little bit better if you're about to try some transformative cosmetic procedure in the house of your body, Pluto, Venus. Me, Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. So what we have, Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising people, is that we have a very unconscious, subconscious, deep spiritual placement. It's the 12th house. It doesn't affect our outer life. It's not this life that we are engaging in. It's our dream life. It's our inner life. If you have addictions and habits and patterns that you don't need anymore, Pluto, Venus can call it quits for sure. Super willpower, Venus pleasure, willpower, death of the pleasure, that kind of thing. This is a 3-part story, as I said, for everybody. So December 11th, December 25th, and March 1st. So I'm always weaning off wine. I'm always weaning off wine. It's like my favorite thing. Like I have big stints with no wine, then I have wine again. Then I think, oh, I missed it so much. And I say, I think I have wine too much. So I don't drink a lot of wine. I just like to have wine. It's like every day, like have some wine at the end of my day. So for some people like me, whether it's wine, weed, or some other not good thing for you to do habitually, those habits and patterns can fall away during this retrograde. And in fact, Venus retrograde, especially around Christmas, can really help. The last time this happened, when she spent 4 months in the sign of Capricorn back in fall of 13 into 2014, I did my first ever 40 days without wine. And so that was my first ever, like, I'm just not going to drink, except when I was pregnant, obviously, and when I was young. So keep that in mind. This is good for detoxing, cleansing the soul, the psyche, the mind, the underbelly of addictions, all of that. You may find, however, sometimes even though it's not about your life, that's that dreamy 12th house of past lives and stuff, it is the house of hospitals and mental institutions, asylums, insanity, and all of that. Pluto and Venus can mean the death of a female or a female in a hospital situation that you're going to get involved with during this time, okay? Pluto, Venus doesn't mean, don't panic, your children or necessarily your parents, for instance, that would be the other planets in this chart. This would be more like, peers or friends of yours. Venus is the goddess of friendliness. So that wouldn't be a shocker if that happened. With Hygeia, the goddess of healing in the 9th house of faith and God and belief, you're definitely going into a deep dive into what your fundamental beliefs are, Aquarians. You're like going, does God exist? What's the meaning of life? What are the mechanics of reality? What's my philosophy of life? These things are really being healed, though. And that's the thing. Hygeia is helping you heal it. And you may find healing of this inner life of yours through a trip to a foreign land or shore, Hygeia in the 9th house, and this is applying until March, or with somebody from a foreign shore, like a healer or guide, helping you, guides and mentors, healers, 9th house Hygeia. Now you also have the energy of Neptune in your money house of earnings and vocation. And Neptune's been having you dream into your dream money-making path since 2012. And you've been going through a lot of confusion at first, especially until about 2018 about what this dream calling could be that's going to align with your spiritual values and also produce income. So this sextile to the wealth yoga of Venus and Pluto. The other thing about the 12th house, because it also involves foreign shores, by the way, is it can be about money that we make from far off shores, like barter and trade. And now in our modern day world, Pluto, Venus in this house can be PayPal, Stripe accounts for your international business, coffers filling up. All right, so you may experience a deluge of money from this aspect. Now, it could also even be inheritance money, and it could also be windfalls like winning a lottery because of the connection to the 8th house. So there's a lot of improvement in money that can happen, despite the fact I said it's really often an inner life story. That 12th house, those are the exceptions, right? The trines to the money houses 5 and 8 from the Pluto conjunction to Venus can bring quite the financial boon to you. And don't forget the time window keeps playing out until March. So it's not just December. Although pivot points, December 10th, 11th, December 24th, 25th, and March the 2nd, 3rd. Last but always never least is the Pisces, the fishies of the world. You guys are experiencing the Pluto-Venus conjunction in 11th house of great gains from your career and your hopes, dreams, and wishes, and sometimes money, luck, and friends and allies who wish to benefit you. Power, women in great positions of power taking you under their wing, financial gain from your career being picked up, momentum, the end of some situation in your dreams and hopes to replace it, rebirth it, transform it with a more true you, a refined version of you. Why do I say a refined version of you? Because Venus is the exaltation lord of the house of your identity, and she's getting Pluto power right now. And 3 passes at that. Remember, it's not just one thing. December 10th, 11th, December 24, 25, and then March 2nd, 3rd. What is it like to have the exaltation lord who exalts your physical body, your beauty, your persona, your demeanor, your character, going through a Plutonian transformation? Well, I think it's pretty intense, actually, and you may have a superpowered intensity around transforming your aspirations, dreams, and wishes for your life that also aligns with more true exaltation power of who you are in this life and world. That's more so, though, what I just said, true for Pisces, sun, moon, and rising sign, with 20 to 29 degrees of those elements of the rising sign, sun or moon, with Neptune, dreamy Neptune, visionary, imaginal Neptune in the house of your identity, in the modern dignity in your sign. This happens once every 150 years, and you're having it happen now. Well, since 2012, and will be ongoing till 2025. You're dreaming into a true mystical quality of being. You're like trying to figure out who you are as a dreamer, daydreamer, poet, and mystic of the universe. And this is your journey right now. And with Neptune, and you might want to get enlightened. And then with Neptune receiving that Pluto-Venus power as well in your first house, this could also be a dramatic shift of identity towards something much more spiritual in the next few months ahead, if that's not your path already. You definitely would benefit from Hygeia's help in the 8th house, and this can be a money windfall placement, as it was for the Aquarians for different reasons. Venus Pluto in that pennies from heaven and karmic dividends house is in a square to Hygeia in your 8th house of money that belongs to inheritances, to your partner's money, jointly invested monies you invest, grant loans and stipends, tax rebates. Those are 8th house kinds of places where money can befall you in December, January, February of 2023, all the way out there. Thank you to this energy that's incited in the sky as of now, as of December 10th and 11th, could kick off a series of fortunate financial unfoldments. The Hygeia square doesn't really worry me because it's squaring Venus, and honestly, she's a benefic. What I'm feeling is that there may be some grit with your spouse around some money that you both hold, or regarding hammering out the details of that inheritance or that alimony or palimony or that money situation, but it works in your favor. And Venus takes possession of that, and it fires up your deepest hopes, dreams, and wishes in life and helps exalt you into a new being. Oh, I was going to draw a tarot card for every sign, and I completely forgot. That's too funny. Next time, guys. All right. I hope you enjoyed that little astrology tour of the sky, talking about the impact of Venus and Pluto. Don't forget to like and subscribe and check my description box below. I forgot to say that at the beginning, but please give my channel a boost. And in my description box, you'll find everything I have going on, my eclipse reading sale, my 2022 mini stocking stuffers, and more. Check out my newsletter, monthly draw for a free reading, and 30% off all readings with me, one-time coupon use. So you get a lot of benefits by being on my mailing list and getting my Cosmic Moonshine swig of weekly forecast news newsletter every Sunday. All right, guys, thanks for listening. I'm out of here. Ciao, ciao.